Hey, what's going on, guys? So in this video we're going to actually create a Chrome extension using just HTML and CSS. We're not even going to have to use any JavaScript here. What we're going to build is just a launcher. I called it the Traversy launcher. You can do this and you can have my links, or you can build it for your own site and your own social media links. Basically what it is, I already have it installed, as you can see, and you can see up here I have my little icon. If I click that, it's going to open up the launcher, which just gives us easy access to my website, YouTube channel, Twitter, Facebook, and Github. Okay, so if I click it, it's just going to take us to each of those links, and it's going to open on a new tab. So something very, very simple, but I think it's nice. We're going to style it nice and neat like this. Use some font awesome icons, and of course, you know, a lot of you may want to do something more in depth and actually use JavaScript and make something dynamic, but I think this is nice for beginners just to see how Chrome extensions are formatted, how the manifest file is set up, and how to load developer extensions. And then to upload it to the Chrome store is very easy as well. You can see I just actually submitted it about 10 minutes ago, and it's in progress for publishing. It said it'll take about an hour. Let's see, we'll reload this, and at the end of the video we'll reload it. We'll see if it's uploaded. But if it gets accepted, which I believe it should, then you'll be able to actually download this from the Chrome store. Alright, so that's what we'll be doing, guys. I think it's a pretty interesting project and something that even beginners that are just getting into HTML and CSS and so on can do. There's no complicated logic or anything like that. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. Hey guys, if you've been watching my videos for a while and you really like what I do and I've helped you out a lot, consider becoming a patron. Even for $1 per month, it pushes me to keep bringing you guys the best content I possibly can. There's reward tiers for discounts, free Udemy courses, personal support, and more. So check out the Patreon link in the description below for more info. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get started with the launcher extension. So I'm going to create a new folder here, and I'm going to call it Traversy-Launcher. And like I said, you can follow along exactly with me and build this, or you can make it your own. What I would suggest is building this out first and then recreating it as your own if that's what you want to do. Alright, now in this folder we're going to need a couple things. I want to take care of the icons, okay, because we're going to need a couple icons. We're going to need one main icon, which is the actual one that you see in the toolbar, and that's going to be 19 pixels by 19 pixels, and it should be called icon.png. So I'm going to grab that and bring that in, okay, right in the root folder here. And if we take a look at that, I guess I'll just open it with Photoshop. Alright, so you can see it's just my T logo, and if we look at the image size, it's 19 by 19. So you can use Photoshop or you can use something else. Just go ahead and create that. The next one we're going to need is the 128 by 128 pixels icon. So you're going to want to create that. So I'm just going to bring that in real quick. Let me find it. Okay, and what we're going to do is call it icon_128.png, and we'll go ahead and open that with Photoshop. And if we look at the image size, it's 128 by 128. Okay, so those are the two icons for the actual app. Now I am going to have my logo inside the actual markup, so that's going to go in my images folder. So I'm also going to create a folder called images. Okay, and you can put these in here if you want, but since these are actually part of the application, the extension itself, I'm leaving them in the root. But I'm going to paste in my logo here. I just called it Traversy logo, and if we open this one up, this one is I think it's 150 by 150. So this will actually be displayed in the little drop down from the extension. So those are the icons that you're going to want. Okay, or the logos. So now that we have that done, let's go ahead and open this folder up in VS Code or whatever text editor or IDE you're using. And let's go ahead and create our main manifest file. Every Chrome extension needs to have a file called manifest.json. So we're just going to create that. And inside here, we're just going to put in our curly braces, and we're going to say manifest underscore version, and that's going to be version 2. Okay, at least at this time. You might want to check the Chrome docs if you're watching this a while from when it was published. And we're going to give this app a name, and we're going to call it Traversy Launcher. Okay, we're going to give it a description. That should be a lowercase d. So description, I'm just going to say quick launch Traversy Media, and let's give it a version number. Oops, this should be legit JSON. So version, and I'm going to give it a version of 1.0.0. That's usually how I like to do my versioning. And let's see, we're going to add icons, and this is where we want to specify different sized icons. This should actually be an object, and then we want to say the 128 pixel icon. We want to point to that image, which will be icon underscore 128.png. Okay, next we want the browser action. Okay, so browser action, and in here we want to put the default icon, default underscore icon, which is that standard icon.png file. Okay, and then we need to specify the default pop-up. So this is going to be the HTML file that we're going to use for the launcher pop-up, where we have all the icons and stuff. That's going to be called popup.html. Okay, and then we just want one more, and it's going to be permissions. So for permissions, we only want one. It's actually an array, but we only want one called active tab. And that's it. That's our manifest file. So we can go ahead and save that. And in VS Code, I get this little green line. It says it should be an array. If you're getting that, just ignore it. It's not actually an error. All right, so now what we're going to do is create our HTML file. So remember, that's called popup.html. And then we're also going to create a JavaScript file called popup.js. Now, this particular extension isn't using any JavaScript. It's just presentational. But this is where you would put your JavaScript if you were adding any. Okay, so let's go into the HTML file. And this is where we're going to do most of our work. We're going to put all of our CSS here as well. So let's go ahead and use Emmet and just stick in our head and body tags. And for the title, I'm just going to say Traversy Media, or just Traversy Launcher. All right, and then I'm going to use Open Sans for my font, so I'm going to go ahead and put a link tag in here, and I'm going to link it to HTTPS, and we want fonts.googleapis.com/CSS, and then we want to add a parameter, so we want our question mark family equals open plus sans. Okay. And let's just add a type here of text/CSS. And then another thing we're going to want to bring in is Font Awesome. That's what I'm using for icons. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my browser, and we're going to look for the Font Awesome CDN. We'll grab this one here, and let's just say we want the link tag. So copy that, and we're going to paste that in there. Alright, so now let's move on to the markup. So we're going to go down into the body here, and let's create a div with the class of modal-header. And in here we're going to have our logo, so we're going to have h1 with the class of logo, and we're using Emmet, as you can see. And in here we'll have our image, and give that a class of logo-icon. And then the source for that is going to be in the images folder, and it's going to be that Traversy logo. Oops, can't spell my own last name. Traversy-logo.png. Okay, and then let's see, we don't need I guess for the alt, I'll just say Traversy launcher, and then let's go right after it and say Traversy launcher. Okay, and then I'm going to have the version, so I'm going to put a span tag here with the class of version, and inside that I'm just going to put parentheses and 1.0.0. So that'll be the version. Next thing we're going to do is go under the header, and we're going to have a modal content class. Okay, and in here I'm just going to put a simple paragraph, and we're just going to say easily access Traversy media content. Alright, and then underneath the modal content, I'm going to put a class of modal-icons, and in here I'm going to put a class called flex container. We're going to use flexbox to align these things, and then we're just going to have some divs with the class of flex. Flex. Okay, and in each one we're going to have a link, and this is going to go to my website first. So I'm going to put an HTTPS www.traversymedia.com, and we're going to add a target to open up in a separate page. So we want target equals underscore blank, and inside the A tag is where we're going to put our icon. So it'll be an I tag with the class of FA and the class of FA-globe. That'll give us a little globe icon. Okay, so now what I'll do is just copy the whole flex div, and we're going to have, what, I think it's 4 more. Okay, so the second one is going to be YouTube. So Font Awesome has a YouTube icon, so we're going to change that, and then change this to my YouTube URL, which will be youtube.com/traversymedia. This next one here will be for Twitter. Okay, so we're going to change that URL to twitter.com/traversymedia. Alright, and then this one here will be Facebook. So that'll be facebook.com/traversymedia. And then this last one here will be GitHub. So that's github.com/Brad Traversy. And if you just want to change these icons, this should be Facebook, and this one should be GitHub. Okay, so that's it for the markup. Now we can actually see this if we want. If we just open this up, let's see, I'll open it up with Live Server and VS Code, but you can just open the HTML file up, and it looks like that. So it doesn't look too great. So let's start to add our CSS. Alright, so let's see, we're going to go to our head, and let's go ahead and put in some style tags. And let's start off, we'll start off with the HTML body. Okay, so we're going to set the font family, and we want to set that to Open Sans. Say Open Sans and Sans Serif. Okay, we're going to set the font size, and we're going to set that to 14 pixels. We're going to set a margin of 0, and we'll set a min height. So the min height is going to be 180 pixels, and then padding we're going to 0 out, and then we're going to set the width to 384 pixels. So that's the HTML body. Now we want the H1, which wraps the logo. So for this I'm going to say font family, and we're actually going to set this to mean-low or men-low, and also after that we're going to say monospace. Alright, and the font size for that is going to be 22 pixels. We're going to set the font weight to 400. Let's set margin to 0, and let's set the color. I'm going to set it to my branding blue color, which is 2F5876, and that should be it for the H1. Alright, so for the links, let's do we'll say a link, also, whoops, no space there, a link, also a visited. We're going to set these to black, and let's set the outline to 0, and let's set the text decoration. We don't want any underlines, so we're going to set that to none. Okay, now for the image. So the image I'm going to set to a width of 30 pixels, and that'll be the logo image. And let's set the we'll start to work on the modal. So let's say modal-header. Well, the whole thing's a modal, I guess, the modal parts. And that's going to have a actually, we're going to align the items of the header to the center, and then we're also going to add a border to the bottom, which will be 0.5 pixels solid, and it's going to be like a really light gray, which is going to be DA. Okay, and then let's do the content. So we'll say modal-content, and for that we're just going to add some padding. We're going to say 0 on the top and bottom, 22 on the left and right. Okay, now for the icons, so we have modal-icons, and for that we're going to set border top again to 0.5 pixels solid, and the DA 3 times. Okay, we're also going to set a height of 50 pixels and a width of 100%. Alright, so we can see what that looks like so far. Okay, so it just looks like that. You can see we have the border and stuff. Now for the logo class, actually, you know what? Let me snap this over. So let's see, for the logo class, we're just going to add padding of 16 pixels. And let's do the logo icon. So the logo icon, I want to vertical align to text dash bottom. And then we're just going to add a margin right of 12 pixels. Okay, that way it's kind of in line with the H1. The version number, so that had a class of version. That's going to be color 444, which is kind of a darker gray. And then the font size, we're going to set that to 18 pixels. Okay, so that looks good. Next, we're going to work on this part, the flex, the icons. So we have flex container. Okay, so obviously we're going to display that to flex, and we're going to justify the content to space between. That way all the extra space is kind of put in between. We're going to set padding to 10 on the top and bottom, 20 on the left and right. Okay, and then for each flex item, we're going to add opacity, opacity 1, and I just want a little transition when we hover over it. So let's say transition opacity, and let's say 0.2 seconds, and then we want it to ease in out. Alright, and then we're just going to set a width of 120 pixels. Okay, and then the flex hover, so for the flex hover, we're just going to say opacity is going to be 0.4. So we want it to just get a little lighter when we hover over it. And then the icons, you can see how small they are. We want those to be bigger. So let's say flex, and then FA, which is the class of the icons. We're going to set the font size to 40 pixels and set the color to my other blue, which is the darker blue. So that'll be 2F. Actually, no, it's the same blue. 2F5876. Okay, so that should be the CSS. Let's save it, and there we go. All right, so like I said, the pop-up JS is for your JavaScript. So what I'm going to do is, even though I'm not using any JavaScript, I'm going to link that file just in case I want to add some later. So that'll be to popup.js. All right, and I think that's it. So let's save it. And we're ready to add this as an extension. So what we need to do now is go to our browser, and we're going to go to more tools and then extensions, or you can just type in Chrome://extensions, and you want to make sure developer mode is checked so that you can upload your own. And then we're going to say load unpacked extension, and we're just going to go to the folder that that we just created, which is Traversy launcher, and let's click OK, and there we go. Now if you don't see the icon here, you may see a little puzzle icon. Just exit Chrome and go back in, and your logo should show the 128. This is that 128 pixel icon. And you'll also see up here we have the little icon, and if I click it, there we go. There is the HTML that we just created, the HTML and CSS. And if I click one of these, it'll go ahead and open up the link in another tab, which is exactly what we want. Now for the Chrome store, what you want to do is go to your developer console. Actually, let me just search Chrome store upload. I forget the exact URL. Let's see, publish in the Chrome web store. So this is kind of a tutorial on how to publish it. Let's see, so basically you want to zip your application up. So you would take this whole folder, so everything in it, and actually you would just grab everything and then add it to a zip file. So we'd go like that, and then you could actually upload that to the store. So if we go back and let's go to the Chrome developer dashboard, and you could go down and say add new item, and this is where you choose the zip file and click upload, and then it's going to ask you for a couple images, some screenshot images, and I think it says it on the documentation page, the sizes. Let's see. Does it say it? It's right here. So you want a 128 by 128 icon, and then you want at least 1280 by 800 or a 640 by 400 screenshot. So this is what my screenshot looks like. I have the 1200 by 800 here, and then the 640 by 400 here, and this is what I use, so that's what will show up. All right, now if I go back to my where is it, developer console, which is right here, and you can see it now says published. If I click on this, there it is. So it's now added to the store. Now instead of me having it added through developer tools, I'm going to delete it. So I'm going to go to extensions, and I'm just going to trash that. And then what I'll do is go back to the Chrome store, and let's see if it comes up in search. There it is. I literally just uploaded this less than an hour ago. So let's say add to Chrome, add Traversy launcher, add extension. There it is. So it's as easy as that. Awesome. So if you guys, I mean, you know, obviously if you don't watch my content that much, it's not worth it. But if you watch my content quite a bit and you want easy access to YouTube and social media, my website, to see if my Udemy courses have been updated, go ahead and install this and give it a rating. I'd really appreciate that. But yeah, so that's how you can create your own Chrome extension and get it live and up and running so people can actually install it. Alright guys, so thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed already and you like this type of video, and leave it a like, and if you could install this if you want, that would be great as well. Give it a rating, and thanks for watching.